Chuck Berry was born in 1926 in St. Louis, Missouri, in a segregated America. His early years were set against a backdrop of racial tension and socio-economic struggles, but even then, the seeds of his musical genius were being sown. He grew up in a household that appreciated music, with the blues, gospel, and country tunes filling the air. This exposure to a diverse range of music at a tender age sparked a love for the art form that would become his life's calling. As a child, Berry was drawn to the rhythmic beats and soulful lyrics of the blues. He was touched by the raw honesty of gospel and intrigued by the storytelling aspect of country music. These influences would later find their way into his own music, creating a unique blend that would define his sound. Despite the challenges he faced, including poverty and racial discrimination, Berry found solace in music. It was an escape from the harsh realities of his world, and a way to express his feelings and experiences. He began to realize that music was not just a personal refuge, but also a powerful tool for communication and change. In his teenage years, Berry started to perform in local clubs around St. Louis. These early performances were far from the limelight, but they were the testing grounds for his evolving musical style. He experimented with different guitar techniques and started to develop a signature style that was unlike anything else at the time. He combined the rhythmic drive of the blues, the emotive power of gospel, and the narrative quality of country music to create a sound that was distinctly his own. These early years were crucial in shaping Berry's musical identity. They were the foundation upon which he built his career and made his mark in the world of music. Through all the trials and tribulations, he held on to his passion for music and the belief in his own talent. He started performing in local clubs, honing his craft and developing his unique guitar style, which would become his trademark. In the 1950s, a new musical genre was on the rise: rock and roll. Chuck Berry emerged as one of its pioneers. This was an era of change, of rebellion, and of voices clamoring to be heard. The world was ready for a new sound, and Chuck Berry was there to deliver it. He took the rhythms of blues, the storytelling of country, and the energy of gospel, and he melded them into something altogether different, something electrifying. This was rock and roll. Berry's music was a fusion of sounds and styles, a melting pot of musical influences that reflected the diversity and dynamism of post-war America. And then came his breakout hit, Maybelline. It was a song that shook the music world. With its driving beat, innovative guitar licks, and Berry's charismatic voice, Maybelline was unlike anything that had come before. It was a story of love and loss, a narrative that captivated listeners and catapulted Berry to national stardom. But Berry didn't stop there. He followed Maybelline with a string of hits that included Roll Over Beethoven, rock and roll music, and the timeless Johnny B. Goode. These were more than just songs. They were anthems for a generation, songs that captured the spirit of the times. Berry's music was innovative, but it was also accessible. His lyrics, often inspired by his own experiences, spoke to the hopes, dreams, and struggles of everyday people. His songs were stories, and he was the storyteller, the voice of a generation. His performances were equally groundbreaking. He brought a new level of showmanship to the stage, with his trademark duck walk and his dynamic guitar playing. He was a performer who knew how to engage with his audience, to draw them in and make them part of the show. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about Chuck Berry was his ability to resonate with people of all ages and backgrounds. His music transcended racial and social boundaries, paving the way for a more inclusive music industry. He was a trailblazer, a pioneer, a catalyst for change, and his influence was far-reaching. Countless musicians have cited Berry as an inspiration, from the Beatles to the Rolling Stones, from Bob Dylan to Bruce Springsteen. His music has been covered, sampled, and celebrated by artists across the globe. But it wasn't just his music that left a mark. His lyrics were clever and relatable, telling stories that resonated with young people. They spoke of love and loss, of joy and sorrow, of the trials and triumphs of life. They were stories that everyone could relate to, stories that continue to resonate today. In the world of rock and roll, Chuck Berry was a titan. His music defined an era, and his influence continues to be felt to this day. He was a pioneer, a trailblazer, a legend. He was Chuck Berry, and this was the birth of rock and roll. But Berry's career was not without its challenges. Legal troubles and personal struggles threatened to derail his success. Yet, Like the pulsing beat of his music, Berry's journey was marked by a rhythm of ups and downs. In the late 50s, at the peak of his fame, Berry was convicted on charges that would see him spend time behind bars. This setback could have broken a lesser man. But Berry, he used the time to reflect, to write, to grow. Then in the mid-60s, as he was finding his footing again, another legal battle loomed. Despite these repeated blows, Berry's spirit remained unbroken. His resilience was like the strings on his guitar, flexible yet unyielding, capable of producing the sweetest music even under pressure. And let's not forget the personal struggles. The shifting sands of time and fortune, the changing music scene, the constant need to stay relevant in a world that was evolving faster than a Chuck Berry guitar solo. Yet, through it all, Berry's determination never wavered. His love for music remained as constant as the northern star, guiding him through the darkest nights. Berry's story is not just about the triumphs. It's about the battles, the setbacks, the times when the odds were stacked against him. It's about the power of music to heal, to inspire, to lift us up when we're down. It's about finding the strength within ourselves to keep going, to keep creating, to keep dancing, even when the music stops. You see, Chuck Berry didn't just play rock and roll. He lived it. The rhythm of his life echoed the rhythm of his music, full of twists and turns, ups and downs, but always moving forward, always pushing the boundaries, always reaching for the stars. Chuck faced his share of hardships, but his determination and love for music always brought him back. His story is a testament to the transformative power of rock and roll, a symphony of resilience that will continue to inspire generations to come. Chuck Berry's impact on music and culture cannot be overstated. The man was a veritable maestro, a virtuoso of the electric guitar, and a lyricist with a flair for storytelling that resonated with audiences far and wide. His style, his energy, his audacity, all of it coalesced into a sound that was uniquely Chuck, yet universally appealing. The echoes of Berry's music reverberate through the decades, influencing countless musicians who followed in his footsteps. From the Rolling Stones to the Beatles, from Bruce Springsteen to Green Day, the threads of Berry's influence are woven into the very fabric of rock and roll. His songs have been covered by artists across the globe, a testament to the enduring appeal of his music. It was not just his sound that left a mark. Berry's performances were a spectacle in their own right. His iconic duck walk, his flamboyant stage presence, these are elements that have been emulated by performers for generations. He was not just a musician, he was a showman, an entertainer who knew how to captivate an audience. But perhaps one of the most profound aspects of Berry's legacy is his role in breaking down racial barriers in the music industry. In a time of segregation and racial tension, Berry's music transcended these divides. His success in the predominantly white world of rock and roll was a significant step towards racial integration in the music industry. He was a trailblazer, a pioneer who navigated uncharted territories with his guitar and his voice. And so, the legacy of Chuck Berry lives on. His music continues to inspire, to entertain, to resonate with audiences of all ages. He was a true titan of rock and roll, a man whose impact can be felt in every power chord, in every catchy lyric, in every electrifying performance. He crossed racial boundaries with his music and paved the way for future generations. In the end, Chuck Berry's journey was one of highs and lows, but his music remains timeless. His life, painted with vibrant strokes of triumph and adversity, created a masterpiece that resonates in the heart of rock and roll. He was a man who faced the harsh realities of his time, yet he never ceased to strum his guitar to the rhythm of resilience. His music wasn't just a collection of catchy tunes, it was the soundtrack of a generation, an anthem of rebellion and freedom. Berry's innovative style, potent lyrics, and electrifying performances changed the face of music, shaping the sound of rock and roll and inspiring countless musicians. From the lively beats of Johnny B. Good to the raw energy of Roll Over Beethoven, Berry's songs continue to reverberate, transcending time and crossing cultural boundaries. His legacy, etched in the annals of music history, stands as a testament to his indomitable spirit. Join us in celebrating the life and music of Chuck Berry, a man who rolled with the punches and rolled with the music.